Hi. Discussion number 2. I'm sure I'll stop counting after 3. We'll just call it discussions. Maybe I'll have these weekly or something. Not a bad thing. Almost a little cafe chat, as someone said it sounded like. Just a random chat about models. I've been building models for about 50 years. For some reason, when I was 6 years old, going into the shops and seeing those FX bubble packs, it just grabbed me. A lot of people say that their father had models which sort of motivated them. For some reason, just seeing these parts of something really made me just want to do that. And as I said, I absolutely messed them up. I destroyed those models. But luckily, no one sort of, discouraged me and said, oh, look what a mess you've made of that. I enjoyed it, and I carried on making messes for years. And here we are today. Just to catch you up on where this one is, so I've done the second color, which came out very nicely, and that's been drying for a good week or so. It'll then get the white stripe waterline, but before I do that, I want to weather the thing quite a lot. Although it looks beautiful at the moment, I don't want it to look that way. I want it to look like a well-aged ship, although does seem a bit of a pity to have to ruin such a beautiful shiny paint job. Don't know, what do you think? Weather it or leave it nice and bright like that? I tend to have these sort of flows of energy in particular models. So now while I'm busy on the CX500 Turbo, I've got a good momentum on that one, and although there's lots of other things on the go, once that's finished, things will carry on with other models. I just brought this one to show you. Very nice little tiger cat, and it's a very crap model. I can't even remember what brand name it is, but it's of those worst models, but yet it made a very nice finish. Can't complain. I do have a nicer one to build. But anyway, yeah, I take on these lower quality things often to do a quick build. I think, yeah, I could slap that together. And I don't mind, because I'm not planning on putting anything into the undercarriage bay. I'm not planning. There's nothing in the cockpit. I'm not planning on anything fancy. Just, can I finish a nice model? And when I say nice in my eyes, a lot of other people would look at it and say, oh, it doesn't have all this fancy and it's raised panel lines. That's okay. Looks cool to me. You've seen those guys who have done that model of the ME109 on wheels, the little car made out of a captured 109 fuselage. So that's what that one's for. I was building it to be a proper ME109, but something went wrong at some stage and I can't quite remember what that was. And then I just decided, well, fuselage on wheels it is. I can't remember if I've actually decided what wheels to use yet and what sort of body, sort of chassis work, or if anything. This is a FX Hampton, which is in experimental stage. It sort of had undercoat colors put on, but instead of a even undercoat, I want to put on undercoat roughly in the lines of the camouflage. And this one I tried to do a very particular dulling of the canopies, which didn't turn out that well, because I want this to be the equivalent of an aircraft which has stood at a museum in the sun for you know, 5 decades. So this is another one waiting for attention. I quite like the Hampton, a very unusual aircraft. And I have got a few of them, so I'll build another one in pristine condition as well. I like to spread my energies over a number of topics through the year, and I won't say that I actually succeed in that all the time. This is a little Churchill and an Airfix one. It's just in another box. And I think I'm going to be putting this together soon. When I say put together, I'll start working on it. So keep your eyes out for that one. I won't necessarily do specific build logs. I don't know. We'll see. And I do like getting to some 1/35th armor or soft skin. Actually, I'm quite keen on doing this one soon. I've got a couple of tanks waiting as well, but that's quite nice. Now, and I don't really plan these as proper projects, unlike my motorbikes. So I sort of work on these with a little bit of splashed in time between other models. If I'm just a bit tired of working on something serious, I take out something and clean some parts, glue a couple of halves together. And I think of all the categories, armor and soft skin, anything that gets very war weary is a very rewarding topic, because you can get away with being so imperfect in your build. I mean, of course you can build it very perfectly as well, but what I mean by that is a good little bit of battle damage or scratches or something that wouldn't quite pass on an aircraft. You get away with it in armor. I also do dioramas, but that's space and effort is a little bit tight on dioramas at the moment. But if people want to see, I might actually do a diorama project. Actually, I have a couple of small dioramas. They're supposed to fit on A5 size bases. So I'll show you. I mean, it's not serious stuff compared to a bigger diorama. And I just absolutely love these trucks. If I find another one, but I like, for some weird reason, I don't like a lot of the name brands, even though they're great models. I specifically love the Ertl-AMT box art. Now here's a lot of the parts that I was dechroming, and I showed you that one, and I can show you the difference there. Totally chromed versus partially dechromed. Now the reason that's partially dechromed is simply because that gloss layer that they sometimes put over it stops the bleach from getting that chrome off first time round. So this particular kit, more than any others I've seen, has left bits of chrome everywhere. I'm thinking that I'm actually going to possibly weather this one. I'm not sure as well. What do you think? Weathered truck or not weathered truck? Now, why dechrome? I suppose that if you want to build a very bright and shiny, don't dechrome it. But when you glue halves together and you sand the joints, you are going to lose chrome there. So even though you really wanted to keep the chrome, you may be faced with respraying certain areas. I mean, one could keep that, but I'm just not interested in keeping such a bright and shiny truck. I want this truck to look well used and older. That Mack Bulldog, which I'm working on, well, I haven't started working on it yet, but I will. And this one together, I'd like them to sort of form a nice complementary pair. The bulkheads for the pillar are well underway. I've shaped them, and there's still a lot of work to get them ready. And as far as my goal for this year with the pillar is to get the keel and bulkheads on and ensure that I've got a very sturdy basis for starting planking. But that'll make a nice model to follow. I've still got to fix these ailerons on the Mustang wing where I hadn't tapered them. So there's, I mean, I've just got a million projects waiting everywhere, and I don't really mind. And I got a radio controlled aeroplane for free last week. It had been crashed, but very minimal damage. Only the cowlings trashed and the undercarriage bent. So I might actually start thinking about how to address that this year. And when I say address it, I mean I'd need to make a new cowling out of fiberglass. Now add in the comments whatever topics you'd like discussed in these chats. It's we can actually do a very interactive thing with a lot of, I mean, I won't do live, not at this stage, maybe later, but I can certainly take up topics that you list in the comments. Because I mean, I've just got so much of everything. My goal, which I don't know if that's going to happen, is to only have around 300 kits. At the moment it's probably around 500 to 600, and there's certainly a lot that I think I'm not going to be building, and then 3 months down the line you change your mind and, oh, that's actually not such a bad kit, let me pull it out, build that again. And because I'm that type of builder who I don't mind absolutely what I build, topic wise or brand name wise, except as I have stated, those ones that are very badly molded, I'm not keen on them. But even old Airfix, old Matchbox models back to the 60s and 70s, if they at least come from those manufacturers who have been established, I'm totally okay with building anything there. And I've got a huge number of categories of models, topics of models. How often do I choose one of the good ones, the Tamiya or the Hasegawa? Difficult to say. It depends totally on the topic. So if I wanted to build a particular topic and it wasn't a Tamiya or Hasegawa, no problem. And if I wanted to choose my Spitfire, I don't have a whole lot of Tamiya. All in all, I think I've got, difficult to say, less than 10 out of all of my kits, excluding motorbikes. Motorbikes I've got lots. And cars, I've got about four Tamiya cars. But aircraft, I only have less than 10. I've got a lot of Airfix, I've got some Matchbox, and total mix of the rest. So what I might do as I dabble with random models is choose like one small armor, one 35th armor, one ship that I'm busy with, and all the different topics, and give you a sort of an update every now and again on progress on them. Might make for a slightly interesting video. Some of my models, of course, I do completely mess up to the point where I'm just like, no, that's not really worth it. But often with my mess ups, this is not really one of them. This is one of those that looks bad but will look good. I can see how this is going to progress well. But there's others where I've done something wrong and I know it's wrong. Like for instance that small Spitfire which I recently put together and then only realized because I was really rushing it. I was actually sitting watching Netflix while building, and then I only realized that the vertical stabilizer, the fin, was quite tilted off. It was a warped fuselage, and I've got no problem with warped kits. Many times Monogram has had warped stuff, and I've fixed it with hot water. If I'd seen that earlier, if I'd been paying attention, I would have fixed it. But now, because that is a symmetry issue, which is a really basic level fault, that model probably is just destined to become a paint mule type of thing, testing some aspects of painting at stages. I am rather a perfectionist on structural correctness. Well built, well aligned, symmetrical, well glued, and even to the point of not so delicately glued that you can't touch the thing afterwards. Because as I was saying in the pinning video, when you break off a fin or some part of your model afterwards, when you hardly put any pressure on that, that's really annoying. Okay, let's leave that one there. Yeah, add in the comments. Let me make a list of topics for next week. And happy modeling.